Episode 71A, Murphy's Comedy Club. This is Murphy's Comedy Club, virtually located in Southie, where else? And I am stealing Ronald Reagan's intro for his many jokes. Did you hear the one about Paddy Murphy and the Mormon? A Mormon was sitting next to Paddy Murphy on a flight from Shannon to Boston. After the plane was airborne, drink orders were taken. Murphy asked for a whiskey, which was promptly brought and placed before him. The flight attendant then asked the Mormon if he would like a drink. He replied in disgust, "I'd rather be savagely raped by a dozen whores than let liquor touch my lips." Murphy then handed his drink back to the attendant and said, "Me too. I didn't think we had a choice." And did you hear the one about Paddy Murphy falling down? Paddy Murphy had been drinking at a pub all night. When he stands up to leave, he falls flat on his face. He tries to stand one more time, but to no avail. Again, he falls flat on his face. Murphy figures he'll crawl outside and get some fresh air, and maybe that will sober him up. Once outside, he stands up, and sure enough, he falls flat on his face. Murphy decides to crawl the 4 blocks back to his home. When he arrives at the door, he stands up and falls flat on his face again. He crawls through the door into his bedroom. When he reaches his bed, he tries one more time to stand up. This time he manages to pull himself upright, but he quickly falls right into bed, and he is sound asleep as soon as his head hits the pillow. The next morning, his wife Nora Murphy stands over him and shouts, "Geez, Paddy, you've been out drinking again." Paddy says, "Why do you say that?" "The pub called and you left your wheelchair there again." How about the one about Paddy Murphy doing a sex survey? Paddy Murphy has a new job, doing live surveys for Psychology and Life Journal. He goes to Murphy's Pub in Cork City, owned by his cousin Spud Murphy. On Friday evening, he loudly interrupts the pub's drinking and carousing and asks loudly if he could take a survey. He then begins, "How many of you men have sex every day?" 10 hands go up. "Okay." "How many once a week?" 25 hands go up. "How about once a month?" 20 hands go up. "And now, once a year?" Fatso Hennessy in the back raises the only hand, laughing and smiling broadly. Then he starts to fidget and bounce on his feet. Paddy says to him, "Fatso, why are you so happy about that? It's just once a year." Hennessy shouts, "Because today's my birthday." How about the IRS and Paddy Murphy? Did you hear that one? Father O'Malley of St. Mary's Church in Charlestown, Mass. answers his phone. "Hello, is this Father O'Malley?" "It is." "This is the IRS. Can you help us?" "If I can." "Do you know a Paddy Murphy?" "I do." "Is he a member of your parish?" "He is." "Did he donate $10,000 to the church?" "Yes, he will." How about Paddy Murphy as a boy joke? Have you heard it? Joe Biden, Senator Elizabeth Warren, the Pope, and Paddy Murphy, a 10-year-old Irish boy, are all passengers on a plane. About halfway through the flight, something goes wrong with the engines and they completely turn off. The pilot rushes out of the cockpit, puts on a parachute and says, "The engines have given out and this plane is going down. We all have to jump, but there's only 3 parachutes left. Good luck." Then he jumps out of the plane. Without hesitation, Senator Warren gets up and says, "I'm the most important person here than everyone else on this plane, and I'm taking this parachute." She then puts on the parachute and jumps off the plane. Then President Biden stands up and says, "I'm the smartest and the most popular president in American history. I got over 80 million votes, and I didn't even have to campaign. Americans love me, and there's no way they'd want me to die." Biden puts on the parachute, trips on some luggage, and falls out of the plane. The Pope looks over at the young boy and says, "Paddy, I'm a very old man, and I have lived a very long life. I will happily go to my reward in heaven if it means I can save you from dying on this plane. So young. So go ahead, my child, take the last parachute." Paddy looks at the Pope and says, "It's okay, Your Holiness. We will both have parachutes. The smartest and most popular president ever just jumped out wearing my book bag." This is Rod Murphy. Thank you for viewing or listening to my podcast episodes. I really appreciate it. If you liked it, and if you so choose, I ask you to send a good review and or refer a friend who might be interested in this Old Boston podcast series. Again, my thanks.